Here are the 5 Malaysian dishes that I order at any Malaysian restaurant that I go to for the first time, because they are my litmus test dishes that will tell me if a Malaysian restaurant is worth going to again. Hey guys, it's Steve from the Fat Life Project. So I'm a Malaysian, and today I'm gonna take you to my favorite Malaysian restaurant in Sydney. And when I say favorite, I mean favorite. Honestly, I've been here so many times that the waiters know me by name. I'm gonna take you on a little food tour to Hojiak Town Hall, showing you some of the dishes that are always on my order list and why. And so if you're a Malaysian food lover and have never been to Hojiak before, well then this video is for you. But if you've never been to Hojiak and have never had Malaysian food and are maybe Malaysian food curious, well then this video is still for you, as I will be focusing on dishes that I always order when I visit any Malaysian restaurant in the world for the first time, as these dishes will tell me if the Malaysian restaurant in question is worth revisiting again. Basically, by the end of this video, you're gonna be a Malaysian food expert. And so if that sounds good to you, well then just sit back, relax, and let me take you on a little food tour to Hojiak Town Hall. But before we get into it, hi, I'm Steve from the Fat Life Project, your foodie guide for today. I like to eat and I like showing you what and where to eat. And so if you like food just as much as me, I highly recommend subscribing so that we can go on more fat food adventures together. With that out of the way, let's jump straight into it. Hojiak Town Hall is located at 125 York Street, a roughly 3-minute walk from Town Hall Station. There are multiple ways to get there, of course, depending on where you're traveling from, and as such, I've included the Google Map pin in my description box as always. But here are some facts about Hojiak Town Hall that you may not know. Hojiak is the brainchild of Junda Koo, and the Town Hall location is one of 4 Hojiak locations across Sydney. Hojiak Haymarket is more of a casual restaurant, Hojiak Stratfield, which is a hole-in-the-wall takeaway joint, and Ama by Hojiak at the Chatswood Interchange, which is a collaborative effort between Junda and ex-head chef of Mr. Wong's Hun Lung. Their menus share similarities but are not identical. Hojiak Town Hall is also, at the time of writing of this video, the only Sydney Malaysian restaurant with a Good Food Guide Chef Head Award. Dubbed as Junda's Playground, you will typically find some fusion or creative twists added to a lot of their menu items. I particularly love this lobster tail mee goreng and laksa bombs, which are, by the way, their best seller. It's basically a dumpling filled with typical ingredients found in laksa, drenched in laksa sauce, so that every piece is like a bite of laksa. But I digress. Here are the 5 Malaysian dishes that I order at any Malaysian restaurant that I go to for the first time, because they are my litmus test dishes that will tell me if a Malaysian restaurant is worth going to again. Starting with satay, which is probably one of the most well-known Malaysian food items. You can get chicken or beef satay skewers at Hojiak. The cuts used in satay typically consist of a mix of lean meats and fats, which is the first sign of authenticity that you should look out for. But more importantly, the skewers need to be grilled or barbecued in an open, cold or wood fire. The end product should have some charred bits on the edges of the meat, a smoky, fragrant aroma, and tender, juicy meat inside. The next sign of authenticity that you need to look out for is the peanut sauce it comes with, which is actually a lot more intricately flavored than you would imagine, with typical ingredients including crushed peanuts, coconut cream, chili, and tamarind sauce. Honestly, to date, Hojiak still has the best satay in Sydney town for me. I've yet to find anything better. Roti is a popular flatbread dish that you will typically find at many Malaysian hawker street stalls. A little bit of fun trivia: roti means bread and canai means to knead or to roll in Malay. And as a result, you will almost immediately be able to tell if the roti canai at a Malaysian restaurant is legit. You see, roti canai is typically made by flinging the bread dough high in the air, stretching it paper thin, folding it into many layers before the end product is pan fried. The end result is this flaky bread that is soft and buttery inside and slightly crunchy and flaky on the outside, like this. Honestly, if you've never had roti before, what are you waiting for? So when I think of comfort food, I think of something with a lot of soup and noodles. I can't help it, I'm Asian, okay? Laksa is a delicious noodle soup made from thick rice noodles, coconut milk, and a spicy broth. The soup is usually garnished with shrimps, fish cake slices, bean sprouts, and my personal favorite, these tofu puffs known as tau pok. Hojiak serves up an incredibly comforting and satisfying version of laksa. It is definitely within my top 5 favorite laksas in Sydney. The magic is all in the broth. It needs to be a perfect mix of curry and coconut milk. Too much coconut milk overwhelms the spices, and too little will cause it to lack that signature creaminess. This is also, in my opinion, the best value dish on their menu because at $22 you get a pretty huge serving. Char is possibly my favorite Malaysian dish of all time. And that's saying a lot because there are so many Malaysian dishes to choose from. It is pretty hard to find a good char kway teow in Sydney though, and I reckon Hojiak's version is about as close as you can get to the real thing. Char kway teow is made with flat noodles, often stir-fried in lard oil, which you can immediately tell when you find pieces like this in the noodles. It is mixed in with garlic, eggs, Chinese sausage, prawns, and plenty of bean sprouts, cooked with plenty of wok hay. Wok being the metal wok typically used at many Malaysian restaurants, and hay being the flaming high heat that the dish needs to be cooked at in order to give it its signature charred smoked taste. Without the smoked charred taste in question, the dish is basically stir-fried noodles. But I have to be honest for a quick second for this next dish and confess that I actually did not enjoy eating beef rendang when I was growing up. But it's something that I've since developed a palate for, and a good beef rendang or curry chicken is almost always on my order list when I visit a Malaysian restaurant for the first time. Beef rendang is typically made by simmering beef in a mixture of coconut milk and various spices for over 6 hours until all the flavor has been absorbed into the beef. The result is a flavorful and fragrant dish with tender beef pieces that's often served with steamed white rice or noodles. I opted to have it with roti when I filmed this video. And its laborious cooking time makes it pretty easy to tell the real thing apart from the ones that take shortcuts. If you've never had beef rendang before, I just highly recommend it. But while Hojiak is somewhere that I do frequent a lot, I also don't want you to be in for a shock when you do visit, as the prices can be a little steep. And this by no means takes away from how delicious their food is, but I just feel like I need to be upfront and say this just in case you do visit as a result of watching this video. And to be fair, as they are currently the only Sydney Malaysian restaurant with a Good Food Guide Chef Head Award, I also feel like they've earned the right to charge these prices. I have linked their menu in the description box in case you need a little preview of their prices. But if you're looking for a more reasonably priced alternative, I also highly recommend Nanyang Malaya in Marrickville, which I've actually done a food tour of previously. I've included that video at the end of this video so that you can go ahead and watch that next. But also, if you've enjoyed this little food tour of Hojiak Town Hall, I would really appreciate a like and subscribe. It is absolutely free to do, but it would really help my tiny little channel out so much. I also upload every Saturday, so be sure to also turn on that bell notification so that you can start your weekend with me. If you want to see more Sydney-based content, do feel free to check out my Sydney playlist, which I've included in the description box and also at the end of this video. And if you got to this point of the video, I want to thank you so much for your support. It means the world to me. I hope that you have a fantastic day ahead or that you've already had a good day. As always, I will see you soon in the next video.